Have you ever felt like your harshest critic lives inside your own mind? The Roman Stoic Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Think about that for a moment. If your thoughts are constantly critical or negative, imagine their impact on your self-esteem, confidence, and even your life choices. Today, we will take control of that inner voice, challenge it, and transform it into your greatest ally. Before we begin this transformative process, please like and subscribe to support our journey. Your support helps us create content that empowers you to think, grow, and thrive. Now let's get into it. Number 1, understanding the roots of negative self-talk. Negative self-talk doesn't appear out of nowhere. It often stems from past experiences, societal conditioning, or deeply ingrained fears. For example, maybe you were criticized as a child for making mistakes, and now your inner voice echoes those criticisms every time you try something new. Stoicism teaches us that our mind often creates problems that don't exist. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." Reflect on this. Are the harsh words you tell yourself based on fact, or are they just perceptions? Consider someone preparing for a presentation. Their inner voice might say, "You're going to embarrass yourself." But if they dig deeper, they might realize this fear comes from a single moment of embarrassment years ago, not from their current abilities. The first step in addressing negative self-talk is awareness. Spend a day or two monitoring your thoughts. Whenever you notice negativity, jot it down. Awareness alone can be eye-opening, revealing patterns you didn't even know existed. Number 2, Stoic perception versus reality. The Stoics believe that events are neutral. It's our perception of them that gives them meaning. Negative self-talk is often a misinterpretation of reality. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let's take the example of rejection. Imagine you applied for a job, but didn't get it. A negative voice might say, "You're not good enough." However, if you shift your perspective, you might see that the rejection was due to factors beyond your control, like the company's budget or another candidate's experience. A powerful Stoic exercise is to detach from the event itself and evaluate it objectively. Ask yourself, what are the facts here? What am I adding to the story? This exercise helps you see things as they are, not as your fears or insecurities portray them. Over time, practicing this objectivity weakens the grip of negative self-talk, allowing you to focus on solutions rather than spiraling into self-criticism. Number 3, deconstructing the internal narrative. The negative voice in your mind often acts like an internal narrator, repeating harmful stories. These stories might sound like, "I'm not good enough," or "I always fail." But here's the truth. These narratives are not facts, but biased interpretations you've accepted as true. Stoicism teaches us to question these stories. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Ask yourself, where do these stories come from? Perhaps they stem from a past failure or external criticism you allowed to define your self-worth. A powerful exercise is to rewrite your internal narrative. When you find yourself stuck in a negative thought, take a moment to write the opposite version. For example, instead of, "I'll never be able to do this," write, "I am in the process of learning and improving." Deconstructing these narratives takes time and consistency, but every time you do it, you take a step toward building a stronger and more positive identity. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them and have the power to change them. Number 4, reframing negative thoughts. Reframing is a core Stoic practice. Instead of avoiding negative thoughts, Stoics face them and choose to reinterpret their meaning. Imagine losing a job. A negative perspective might be, "I'm worthless without this position." But reframing might look like, "This is an opportunity to explore a career that aligns more with my goals." A famous Stoic exercise is the view from above. Picture yourself as a bird, looking down at your life from a distance. This helps you see the bigger picture, reducing the weight of negative thoughts tied to temporary situations. Reframing takes practice, but becomes easier with time. Start by identifying one recurring negative thought in your life. Actively challenge and reframe it daily for a week. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel. Number 5, replacing criticism with constructive affirmations. Negative self-talk thrives in a vacuum. If you don't actively counter it, it will dominate your mind. Stoics didn't call them affirmations, but they regularly reinforced empowering principles. For example, affirmations like, "I am capable of enduring this," reflect resilience, a Stoic hallmark. Seneca often reminded himself of the strength within the human spirit. Let's look at a real-life application. If you fail at something, replace, "I'm terrible at this" with, "I didn't succeed this time, but I've learned what doesn't work." Write down 5 affirmations tailored to your challenges. Repeat them each morning and evening. Over time, these affirmations act as a shield against negativity. Number 6, cultivating gratitude. Gratitude is a Stoic antidote to negativity. Seneca wrote extensively about appreciating what you have instead of lamenting what you lack. For example, if you're thinking, "I'm not successful yet," gratitude might redirect your focus to what you've already achieved, such as completing your education, building relationships, or acquiring valuable skills. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. When negativity arises, reflect on this list. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, naturally silencing self-criticism. This simple practice not only reduces negative self-talk, but also rewires your brain to seek positivity in all situations. Number 7, the role of self-compassion. Many people believe being hard on themselves will drive improvement, but Stoicism teaches balance, accepting imperfection while striving for growth. Think of a time you made a mistake. Did you berate yourself or reflect constructively? Self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. For instance, after a failed project, instead of thinking, "I'm useless," try, "This is tough, but I'm learning, and I'll do better next time." This mindset fosters resilience and growth. Remember, even the Stoics stumbled. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote about his struggles. His compassion toward his imperfections allowed him to grow. Number 8, Stoic journaling for inner clarity. Journaling is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius' meditations was his way of reflecting on his thoughts and actions. Each night, write about your day. What negative thoughts arose? Were they valid, or did they distort reality? How could you reframe them? For example, if you were critical of yourself for not being productive enough, your journal might reveal that you actually accomplished several important tasks. Journaling bridges the gap between your perception and reality, making it an invaluable tool for overcoming negative self-talk. Number 9, building resilience through exposure. Stoicism isn't about avoiding hardship, it's about embracing it. By facing challenges, you build resilience, making negative self-talk less impactful over time. For instance, if public speaking terrifies you, start small, present to a trusted friend or family member. Each success weakens the voice that says, "You can't do this." Epictetus reminds us, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Embrace challenges as opportunities to prove your inner strength. Overcoming even minor obstacles builds a track record of success, giving you evidence to counteract negative self-talk. Number 10, embracing imperfection and growth. A key principle of Stoicism is accepting that life will never be perfect, and neither are we. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the nature of imperfection, recognizing that struggles and setbacks are part of being human. Instead of aiming for flawlessness, we should focus on continuous growth and learning. Negative self-talk often arises from our desire to be perfect or meet unrealistic standards. We are bombarded by societal expectations that tell us we should always succeed, look a certain way, or have everything figured out. The truth is that the pursuit of perfection is exhausting and ultimately unattainable. Instead of striving for perfection, shift your focus to progress. Every challenge, mistake, or setback is an opportunity to grow. Reflect on how you can learn from each experience and improve without beating yourself up. For example, if you didn't achieve your goal, ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? Instead of dwelling on failure. Embracing imperfection is liberating. It allows you to accept yourself as you are and to appreciate the growth that comes from facing challenges. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Challenging negative self-talk is a journey, not a destination. It's about understanding that those thoughts don't define who you are. By applying the wisdom of Stoicism, questioning negative beliefs, embracing the present, and practicing self-compassion, you can create a mindset that empowers rather than limits you. Every time you challenge a negative thought, you rewrite your story. The Stoics faced their inner battles, yet they chose to control their reactions and perceptions, showing us that we too have the power to reshape how we think about ourselves. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Celebrate each small victory along the way because they add up. So, keep challenging those negative voices, stay mindful, and don't forget that you are capable of more than you give yourself credit for. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on how Stoicism can help you live a more fulfilling life. Keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next one.